You open your eyes to a silent morning, the world around you still asleep, and in that stillness, you notice something. You're alone. For some, this moment feels like freedom. For others, it's a gentle reminder of an absence they can't quite name. There are people who seek solitude intentionally because it renews them. And there are those who find themselves alone because circumstances left them no other option. Perhaps you've seen them before. The person sitting in the corner at gatherings. The one who gracefully turns down invitations with a kind excuse. The one who insists they're okay while quietly hoping someone will see through the facade. For those who embrace being alone, solitude isn't a void. It's space to breathe. It's where their inner voice can finally be heard above the noise, where contemplation transforms into understanding. This is where they find their energy, where they flourish. Yet it's rarely straightforward. Some individuals withdraw because life taught them to protect what's fragile inside. Perhaps trust was broken by those they believed in. Perhaps disappointment became too familiar. Perhaps they discovered early that expressing vulnerability feels like risk. So they wear the mask, smiling through conversations, agreeing when necessary, maintaining the appearance that all is well. But beneath the surface, there's an unspoken longing. Spending time alone grants these individuals a level of self-knowledge that's uncommon. They observe the patterns in how they think, feel, and respond to situations. They develop an ability to sense tension in a room, predict disagreements, and manage their emotions before anyone else realizes something's shifted. Mental health professionals might describe this as advanced emotional awareness, cultivated not through formal teaching but through lived experience. It's self-reliance that emerges from both conscious decision and the need to adapt. Some genuinely flourish in this space. They discover beauty in silent hours, draw strength from introspection, and channel their solitude into creative expression and undisturbed contemplation. Many artists, authors, and philosophers have deliberately chosen this path, allowing their isolation to fuel original thinking. They prefer conversations with depth over superficial exchanges, and prioritize authentic bonds over numerous acquaintances. But there's another group. People who exist in solitude, not by preference, but because circumstances shape their reality this way. They might have limited friendships or connections that lack substance or relatives who fail to truly understand them. They project confidence, conceal their sensitive side, and maintain space between themselves and the crowd. This becomes protective isolation, a mechanism for self-preservation. They've internalized that depending on others can lead to pain, so they depend on themselves instead. Yet occasionally, in quiet moments, there exists a hope that someone might pause and genuinely ask, "How are you really doing?" Living alone molds them in ways that aren't immediately visible to outsiders. It builds autonomy, inner strength, and profound self-understanding. However, it can also create wounds, challenges with trusting others, hesitation around emotional intimacy, taking on too much responsibility in connections, or hiding hurt behind capability and wit. Psychology identifies some of these tendencies as withdrawal patterns or heightened alertness, coping mechanisms developed to navigate environments that felt threatening or overwhelming. Yet solitude can also cultivate deep self-acceptance. It can shape a consciousness that explores ideas thoroughly, emotions that experience life intensely, and awareness that catches nuances most people overlook. Still, it's not constantly peaceful. There are days when being alone transforms into feeling isolated, when creative energy morphs into emptiness. Days when they yearn for nothing more than another person's simple existence nearby, a companion, a conversation, a touch, someone who cares enough to ask. This duality between the liberation of solitude and the pain of being unnoticed is what characterizes their experience. So, to embrace aloneness is to exist within contradiction. It represents both self-sufficiency and openness to hurt, both imagination and wariness, a refuge that sometimes turns into yearning. These individuals aren't damaged. They're people who've endured, contemplated deeply, felt intensely, and navigated life quietly through a world that frequently misreads them. They demonstrate that fulfillment doesn't require being constantly surrounded, that resilience isn't only about persistence, but also about standing independently, and that meaningful connection begins within ourselves before it extends outward. Perhaps this resonates with your experience. Maybe you deliberately chose this path of solitude, or perhaps life's circumstances placed you here without asking. Regardless, being alone doesn't determine your worth. Recognizing why you need this space, understanding when it serves as healing versus when it functions as protection, can empower you to exist more completely, connect more authentically, and finally find peace with who you are. And occasionally, just occasionally, it creates the clarity to recognize that the world still anticipates meeting the authentic you, the version that's been present all along, steadily evolving, steadily surviving, steadily discovering how to flourish in your own company. So I'm curious, do you genuinely find contentment in your own presence, or do you sometimes desire connection even while claiming you don't need it? I'd genuinely like to know your perspective. Share your thoughts in the comments section below. If this message spoke to you, I'd appreciate your subscription. It genuinely helps the channel and enables us to keep producing content like this. I'd also like to extend an invitation to our Discord community. This isn't about promotion or profit. It's a space I've built to unite individuals from diverse backgrounds with varied perspectives, thoughts, and life experiences. A place for conversation, healing, and discovering different viewpoints. I'm active in that community as well, sharing my own journey. Feel free to join, listen, contribute, and witness my story as it unfolds. Because ultimately, none of us are truly isolated when we choose to connect, comprehend, and support one another.